Hello, I will be showing you some of the basic features of the iPad app called Procreate. I'm using my iPad Pro and Apple Pencil, which this app is optimized for. So to create a new canvas, you press the plus button at the top here, and you can set default dimensions for images that you frequently use, but also create new ones, and you can set the dimensions in pixels, inches, centimeters, or millimeters. You can also set the DPI and title your canvas. The cool thing about Procreate is that it has a layering system similar to Photoshop, which helps organize all of the different pieces onto your canvas. You can lock, duplicate, show or not show each layer. It also includes a huge variety of brushes, and each one can be duplicated and customized to look the way you want it to look. You can play around with the measurements and figure out the size, the opacity, the stroke taper, how spread out you want it to be. There are a bunch of settings that you can play around with. A lot of artists use Procreate and have custom Procreate brushes available to download, so you can import those here as well and organize your brush collection accordingly. So I'm just gonna draw something really quickly so that the features are easier to visualize, and you can see what they do to the image. On the left side, you can see here that there are two little adjustment scales. The top one is for brush size, and the bottom one is for the opacity level of your brush. The little arrows underneath are for redo and undo actions. So the little color sample in the middle of those two scales is used for color matching. So that will end up showing up on your color palette in the top right corner there. Here in your color palette, you can select any color and save them, and you can also enter color values. So if you press the little tool icon on the top left corner, that is where your settings are located. You can insert images here, you can share your artwork. The icon next to it with the little stars, that's the adjustments icon, where underneath that you can adjust color levels, hues, opacity, all of that to each layer. So each layer can be customized to look however you want, and you can isolate the layer in order to do that. I think a lot of the pros of Procreate is that there's a lot of freedom with what you can do, and a lot of customizability with what you can do on the artwork. So I actually forgot to mention the little icon next to that, which kind of looks like a ribbon. That is where you can select a specific part of a layer and isolate that and move that wherever you want. And the arrow icon next to that is where you can just select the entire image on that layer and adjust the sizing and placement of that. So one of my favorite features in Procreate is that it actually saves every action that happens on the canvas. And so this little video tab here is where you can watch a time-lapse replay of your process, which you can share and export that video as well. If you have a more elaborate piece of artwork, it would be longer and more interesting. A lot of artists have argued that Procreate is easier to use and comparable to Adobe Illustrator, and I personally use Procreate for my artwork as well. So thank you for watching my tool review for the app Procreate.